that doesn't turn on that way. There we go. Hey, we got another bike here. I touched on it a couple of videos ago. This is a Univega Land Rover 5. This one we're going to turn into a BMX cruiser. Like I had mentioned before, it's really close. Just got to knock some of the, they call it the leisure bike in their brochure. What I can tell, it's an 82, possibly an 81, but the brakes are 82, so I would think it'd be at least an 82 to an 83. But an 83 brochure did not show this in this form. It actually had a BMX fork on it, and it didn't have the gusset, but everything else is pretty much the same. Even they stated the fluted seat post, the crank, and the fork was the only thing that was different from the picture. But like most manufacturers in that period or that time, you look at the top of my head there. There we go. You know, just because they had a brochure out doesn't necessarily mean that how it was built or was sent out to the masses. You know, they would put together whatever they had available at the time. And the BMX style fork they would put on here, they called it motocross fork, which I have an example of what that would look like. The Strandy I built is actually a Univega one that would have been on this bike. It would only had the steer tube, at least in the brochure, was listed as a chromoly piece. Everything else was high tensile steel. This supposedly has chromoly in it. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But my goal is we're going to knock the leisure part out of it and put a little BMX into it and turn it into just a pavement type cruiser. All right, so we're going to start this Univega today. I'm going to start tearing it down and get it stripped so we can start putting some BMX stuff on there. All right, let's get started. I actually had to break it down when I brought it home, so some of these things are already loose. Like the pedals and the seat might be a little loose. Okay, we got it all broke down. Frame's an 18-inch frame. It's got a 22-inch top tube. The stays are about 18 inches. And I just kind of comparing it to my 2017 Taj 26. This is a 22-inch top tube. It's a 16-inch frame, so you know the center of the bottom bracket up to the center of the top tube is 16 inches. The rear stays are about 17. This is, I don't know if I told you, I think it's 18 and a half, 19, so it's a little bit longer. I guess my point is, you know, building something like that, you're in the 500 plus range. This, you can find one of these I bought this for $80. I think I could have got it cheaper. I thought the wheels were alloy, but they were steel. The picture was bad. But for what I had on it, component-wise, it's good bones for a cruiser. What came off of it was BMX all the way, fluted seat post, which is cool. Tough neck style seat post clamp. Diacomp brakes with levers. This is a forged, generic kind of, but a cool stem, four bolt stem. All this is all faded. Black would have been the original color, but as it sat in the sun. The other cool thing is it's a Sagino. Let me get a better picture. Crank on here. Now, I always find this style, and you guys will recognize this, always on the Murrays and the Huffies. So I was always curious. I never had one of these Saginos like this. Now the Sagino build them for the Huffies and the Murrays, that air, and they stamped some of them to go on the higher end bikes, and this is a 165 arm. And the Huffies and the Murrays didn't want to pay for it, or is this actually a decent one? This is actually Japanese. And I don't know if they had a date code in here or not. I know that's the thread pitch. Yeah, 165/24. And that D10, I wonder what that designates. And the brakes, let's see if we can zoom in on that guy. Maybe that was my date. Looks like an 85, doesn't it? 0285. That sure looks like it. So maybe this is an 85. That's why I couldn't find it. I think it's a 02 of 85. Yep, that's the date. So we got an 85 instead of an 82. I don't know why I thought it was an 80. Anyway, so that probably answers why I couldn't find it in the catalog. I saw an 83. Let's back this back out. I'm smarter than the camera here. Okay, so there's I just bought a cheap sunlight. Oh, I'm losing my light here. I got a cheap sunlight, 26 inch. These are getting expensive for some reason. I don't know why. It could be just because everything's going to get expensive. But I got this one, I think, shipped to me for $44. I've seen them high as $60. Then if you're went to Pork Chop for the ring there, something a little bit livable. This one should be a 39. Yeah, 39. Again, Pork Chop for the grips. And the bars are, I'm going to use the Black Ops bars. Nice cruiser bars, 30 inches across, and a new chain because I went from that multi-speed down to a single speed, so in 1/8 chain. So the goal right now is to clean the bike up and then clean these components up and stick it back together. I do have a plan for the wheels. I have a set of aluminum rims here, kind of a knockoff 7, I think a 7X Arrayas. These are by Chinlin, knockoff import. There they are. But they're a 26175 Kinlin. I cleaned one up, and you can see how bad the other one is. A little steel wool and some others. And I'm just going to do the old zip tie. I'll probably show a video on that. I'll zip tie those together and just slide one spoke over to the hole. And then true them up. Alright, so that's the plan, is we'll clean some parts up. Clean this up. And we'll try to make a inexpensive, kind of an old school cruiser. The geometry is not bad. Once we put some BMX style motocross BMX bars on it and some chrome, it's gonna look pretty cool. So